Police scarlight Novak Djokovic's shocking response to Carlos Alcaraz and Coco Gauff scheduling complaints. Tennis had seen drama before. Storms, scandals, rivalries that cracked continents in half. But nothing prepared the sport for the electric firestorm that erupted one late afternoon in Dubai. When Novak Djokovic walked into the press room, sunglasses tucked into his collar, expression carved from stone, reporters could feel it. Something seismic was coming. For days, the tennis world had been consumed by one issue: scheduling chaos. Players were exhausted. Matches were stretching past midnight. Fans were frustrated. Yet nothing hit harder than when Carlos Alcaraz and Coco Gauff, the sport's brightest young stars, publicly blasted the system. Alcaraz called it ridiculous and unsafe. Gauff labeled it unfair and disrespectful to players and fans. Those comments ricocheted across the globe. Coaches weighed in. Analysts debated on TV. Sponsors sent concerned emails. Fans unleashed storms on social media. But one voice remained silent, one the world waited for, one whose opinion could tilt the entire sport: Novak Djokovic. And today, he would finally speak. One, the calm before the eruption. Djokovic sat down at the podium, adjusting the microphone. The hum of camera shutters fluttered like nervous birds. He stared out across the sea of faces and raised an eyebrow, not impatient, but sharp, calculating. Reporters exchanged glances. He was calm, too calm, for a man whose entire career had been sculpted from physical endurance, mental fortitude, and controversial battles both on and off the court. Scheduling was nothing new. Djokovic had played matches that ended at 3 a.m., won tournaments after grueling marathons, and survived seasons where he had barely slept. But now, tennis was changing. The next generation was louder, more demanding, more willing to challenge authority. And Djokovic knew his response would either ignite unity or fuel another civil war within the sport. He finally leaned in. "I've heard what Carlos and Coco said," he began, voice smooth but edged with steel. "And I think it's time we stop pretending everything is fine." A collective inhale swept the room. This was not the expected fatherly lecture. This was something else. 2. The spark Alcaraz lit. Just 48 hours earlier, Carlos Alcaraz had made headlines of his own. After finishing a quarterfinal match at 1:53 a.m., he appeared for his press conference looking utterly spent, hair damp with sweat, voice cracked but determined. "This isn't healthy for anyone," he said. "People think we're machines. We're not. We're human." Clips went viral instantly. Fans posted hashtag #FixTheSchedule. Schedule. Former players chimed in, calling Alcaraz courageous. Even Rafael Nadal liked to post supporting him, an action that spoke louder than a speech. Tournament officials scrambled to defend themselves with logistical challenges and unexpected delays. But nobody was convinced. So when Gauff joined the rebellion, the topic exploded. 3. Coco Gauff's furious truth. Coco Gauff had always been measured, composed, even painfully careful with her words. But after her own late-night semifinal that ended at 12:48 a.m., she held nothing back. "It's honestly insane," she said. "We say we care about player health. We say we care about fans. But the decisions being made show the opposite." She didn't shout. She didn't rage. But her tone burned hotter than fire. The world listened. Sponsors listened. Teenage athletes around the world listened. The sport couldn't brush it aside anymore, not when two of its global superstars had fired shots directly at the system's foundation. And now Djokovic, the longest reigning emperor of tennis, the man whose voice carried more weight than any press release, was finally picking up the torch. 4. Djokovic unleashes. "In my 20 years on the tour," Djokovic continued, "this has always been a problem. But now the sport is faster, the demands are higher, and the schedule hasn't evolved with it." He leaned back, eyes sweeping the room. And yes, Carlos and Coco are absolutely right. Gasps filled the air. The headlines had written themselves. Social media would melt within seconds. But Djokovic wasn't finished. "You know what the truth is?" he said. "The truth is that the people making these decisions haven't been on a court at 2 a.m. They haven't had to recover in 12 hours for another match. They haven't slept in locker rooms or stretched on concrete floors." He tapped the microphone once, soft, controlled. "We have." His voice dropped, quieter, more dangerous. And we're tired. 5. A sport on the brink. The comments hit tennis like lightning. Within minutes, ESPN cut into regular programming. Twitter crashed under the avalanche of reactions. Players around the world reposted Djokovic's speech. Tournament directors issued defensive statements. Some commentators accused Djokovic of inciting revolt, while others praised him for telling the truth no one else dared to say. Even fans split into factions. Team Novak, Team Coco and Carlos. Team, just deal with it. But what nobody expected was what happened next. 6. Djokovic's proposal that shook the tour. Djokovic wasn't content to point out the problems. He came armed with solutions. The matches shouldn't start past 7 p.m., he said. No one wants to be watching tennis at 3 in the morning. Not fans in the stadium. Not fans at home. He raised 3 fingers. 3 things must change immediately. Set earlier match start limits. Add buffer time between sessions. Give players a minimum rest window after late matches. This isn't radical. It's basic respect. Then he delivered the nuclear line. If the tournaments don't adapt, the players will. Reporters froze. Did Djokovic just threaten a player's strike? He didn't clarify. He didn't need to. The message was clear. Change or players walk. 7. Alcaraz responds. Alcaraz, training in Spain when Djokovic's clip hit the internet, reportedly stopped mid-practice. 11. The emotional truth behind Djokovic's words. Behind all the power, politics, and performance, something deeper simmered in Djokovic's message. He wasn't just offending 2 young stars. He was acknowledging a changing world. Djokovic knew he was nearing the twilight of his career. He had nothing to gain from this fight, and yet he chose to fight it, not for himself, but for the sport he spent his life building. To see Alcaraz burn out at 21? To see Gauff exhausted before finals? To see teenagers carrying ice packs at midnight? It wasn't the future he wanted for tennis, and it wasn't the future tennis deserved. 12. The legacy moment. Djokovic's career had been shaped by battles, against rivals, against crowds, against expectations, against his own limitations. But this battle felt different. This wasn't about winning a trophy. This was about rewriting the rules. And whether the world agreed with him or not, one truth became undeniable. Novak Djokovic had once again reshaped tennis with a single speech. Alcaraz ignited the fire. Gauff fanned the flames. But Djokovic turned it into a movement. 13. The last line that echoed worldwide. As the press conference ended and Djokovic rose to leave, a reporter shouted, "Novak, why speak now?" He paused in the doorway, looked back, and said, "Because silence is how problems survive." He smiled, tired, wise, certain, and it's time this one ends. And with that, he walked out, not just a room, but into tennis history. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.